Hello, good morning everybody. We've come to the end of the week. This is 27th of September. So we'll first of all start, this is not the chart we're going to look at. We are going to start by looking at Euro USD. Then we'll move straight to the other pairs, which should be GBP USD, USD JPY. We'll also move to the rest like gold, SP500, and then the last one should be Brent oil. So this pair, we want to start off just a second. I'm going to delete the line you're seeing, that's the ask line, so we'll delete it first of all. I'll start from the weekly. This so far has been a sell, just as we mentioned some few days ago. This has been a very good sell. So the reason I'm saying it's a sell is because of this. We had a level there, a support, there was a break, and then there was a retracement back to that level, and then after this pin bar here, this was a very good sell. So whoever was waiting for this chart to trade actually took a sell after this pin, but this is a very good place to sell from. If you are waiting to sell this pair, you're supposed to be in a sell as you're speaking, but if you didn't sell it there, we've gone below a very significant support, which is this, a support, then there was a break below. This was supposed to be a good sell, especially when price came back to that level. You actually ought to be looking for a sell from this point here. You're supposed to be looking for a sell. So the best actually is to wait for price to come back up to this level. Then you need to pick a sell from that point. Expect that sell to continue even lower. So as it is now, this is still a very good sell, but then you need to wait for price to come back to the level which I've mentioned. Wait for price to pull back up to the level which I've mentioned here. Wait for price to come back to around 1.0965. Wait for price to come back up to that place. Then you should pick a sell from that point up to the next level, which is on the weekly. We have this one here. So if you take a sell now from 1.0965, have your take profit around 1.0563 here. A sell, have your stop loss above the previous week's highest high, then your take profit needs to be here. So we'll move forward. We'll move forward to the next chart, GBP USD. Yeah, sorry, GBP USD is here. So GBP USD also is a sell, and the reason this has been a sell is because we actually bounced off from some good level, which was this, a very good resistance and a support. We had this level previously, we had a support, there's a break below, price came back that level, it continued down, it came back again. So this was the place to sell from. When price came back to this level here, that was the correct place to sell from up to this level here. So if you did pick that sell, you're supposed to be holding on up to somewhere around this level here. So I'm not going to look at this chart from a lesser time frame. That looks much better. If you check it from the weekly, it looks much better, which means whatever we are doing now is actually supposed to focus on a sell. So we move forward. USD JPY, yeah. USD JPY is also a good sell, but then price needs to come back up to a level which is this, somewhere here. We also have this level there, and we also have this level there. Then you have another line at the top, which is here. So technically, price needs to come back up to this resistance here. Price needs to come back up to this resistance, then we'll be able to pick a sell with our stop loss above this level, and then our take profit is around 104.66. So we'll move forward to our next symbol, and before I proceed to that symbol, I want to mention that if you are holding trades overnight and you're trading gold, specifically if you're that person who trades gold and you like leaving your trades overnight, you can now trade swap free. Swap is the commission which you are charged for holding trades overnight. So if you're that person who holds trades for overnight, you can now trade swap. You will not be charged anything for holding trades overnight. That is an offer which runs, it started on 11th of November. It continues all the way up to 11th of October, that is next month. So gold, we expected a buy. We actually, based on this pin bar, we expected some move to the upper side, and the fact that the price was actually on an uptrend. So whatever is happening now could just be some big retracement. Just look at this. We had this here, and then we also had this, and then we also had this, and then we also have this one, which means whatever is happening now, the downward rally which you are seeing would actually just be a retracement. It's not necessarily that the prices continue to the lower side. It could be a retracement and may mean we are continuing to the upper side. So in case this happens, that the candle which you're seeing, this one, if it pushes price downwards but does not go below the lower one, which is this, and then instead of continue downwards, it does something like this. It continues down, then it comes back up and even goes above the upper trend line, then we'll simply wait for retracement before we continue buying it even higher. This is what we'll wait for. So as it is now, we want the current week's candle to close first before we can make clear decisions whether we are buying or we are selling. If this does not happen, that this something like this do not happen, then I recommend that you remain flat temporarily. So we either buy a break above the upper trend line, or we wait for price to bounce off from the lower trend line so that we can buy it. But all of them, there has to be a clear signal that this is what we expect to be happening. So I hope that makes sense, that we are not going to trade anything unless there's a clear signal that this is what you're supposed to trade. So we'll move forward. We move forward to our next chart, and that should be Brent oil. This is Brent oil, sorry. This is Brent oil. So Brent oil so far has been bearish. Just as we mentioned a few days ago, we expected a sell, but these are the levels to look for. We have the first line at the top. We have this. From the very top, we had that resistance, and then from the bottom, we also have one big line which runs all the way from this level up to the other one. So if you are looking at this chart now, you actually ought to be in a sell as we're speaking. So we expect a sell that should take price to this level, or it should bounce off from this level and push price even higher. We'll move forward to our next symbol, SP500. SP500, we had a trend line here which price is yet to clearly come back up to. We want price to, it should come back perfectly up to this level so that we can sell it from that point to the lower side. This is what you expect to happen, for price to come back up to this resistance. Then we'll be able to sell it from that point to the lower side. So as I mentioned from the start, I'm not going to look at this much deeply because today is actually Friday. The better part of the week is gone. So I can only say that we wait for next week. We see if there's a gap to the upper side, or if there's a gap to the lower side, or if price attempts to come back to the level which I've done, then that's the only time you're going to look for a trade. So as it is now, we want to leave it at that. We'll continue on Monday. So if you have any questions, just kindly feel free to post them under the chat option. I'll be able to respond to them as fast as I see them. So there's a line here, just a second. We also have another line at the bottom here. Then we had this, the move which actually triggered the break below this trend line. This was actually a false move. So before we proceed, just a second, let me pull out where whatever I said at the start, that swap, you can now trade metals without being charged swap. Swap is the commission. you are charged for holding trades overnight. So you can now trade without being charged anything. You can hold your trades overnight without being charged anything. Trade without swap. Then check this link out. This one. So thank you very much. See you again on Monday at the same time.